6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cock and Bull. The voiceover is by a foreigner, hence the voice changes. Then it comes back to us, yaar, and we'll talk like this for the rest of the show. But today, I'm not going to start with a rant. I'm going to start with a question to test my panelists because I believe from the beginning, if we set the standard high, it remains high. We had a horrible panelist on Monday, Kunal Vijayakar, who cheated and things like that. I don't want to ever see that again. So today we've got Abijit Ganguly joining us. If we can just bring him into frame, and of course Amit and Antariksh are always there, also known as Silvery. Abhijit, so nice to have you back after a long time. First,
Yep.
I love the hair, and I don't want to ask you why, because the answer will torment me for many years. But it's beautiful and looks really nice. And again, we shouldn't discuss
I
too much
can
because
give
Amit.
you the answer. I was just doing the traditional Bengali nap, and after that, I'm like, yeah, that is the
Okay,
answer.
Dada Muni, let's move on to my next question, which is the formal question, which you have now hijacked with a better answer to a non-question. The question is, and please think properly, why did the polygamist cross the aisle? And your time starts now. I'll repeat it.
Why
Why
the
did the
polygamist?
polygamist cross the aisle?
I don't
Cross
know.
the
There was
aisle.
another one waiting the other side.
He
I don't
wanted
know.
to get to
Because
the
he has
other
too many
bride.
options. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair,
Well
fair.
played, guys.
Yes.
I'm sorry to. This is a premature ejaculation happened because after the Kunal episode, I just want to finish my joke. Because
Oh,
the
you
guy
don't
just
want
spoiled the
you
entire
want to
morning.
search
Amit,
online.
you left us in the lurch. Abhijit, my friend Kunal came on Monday as a last minute 12-man substitute because Amit had gone to Bangalore for work. And we put him on and we play a silly game where I asked some stupid English words from a dictionary which I'm reading. And he went and cheated. He suddenly started looking at his groin area and his hand. You could see the hands, the fingers were moving from the shoulder movement and all. Even the bloody online chat was saying the guy is cheating. And we asked him a word which means basically cannabis. Huh? So he saw the answer and decided to. This is how we know he was cheating. He made it into marijuana instead of cannabis, so it doesn't look like exact sentence ko live karke bataya. So he just
Yeah.
changed that. But as a fellow cheat, I know that when you do that 19 putties, we
Been
know we
there.
can identify you. Never do that. So he was shocked. Yeah, he was shocked. How do these guys remain in the business with such low standards for so many years?
No, I was
Horrible.
shocked. He knew what Keef was. And also, Cyrus, I
He
looked
didn't
up the
know.
spelling. I looked up the spelling of Keef, and I was right. It Kief is also one of the correct spellings
You're
of
speaking
Keef.
Afrikaans. But anyway, listen to me now. This guy doesn't know anything about the drug business. I'm sorry to tell you. He's the last guy to call for help. Okay, he
That's
has no
exactly, yeah,
idea.
yeah. I was surprised
He's
he knew.
Mr. Conservative. So I'm not buying anything about that. He's not associated with these. He goes to nice
Yeah, yeah.
Parsi family homes and they play guitar and sing songs. There is no bloody drug culture around. So it's all bullshit. Okay, now let's get to Abhijit Ganguly first. The gentleman question, sir. मैंने देखा finally. I saw some of your videos. I think about time I had to see what the young man was up to. They were very good and very. I thought right on the edge, boss. I get really scared. I thought any moment they'll shoot you. And the way you say Modi ji with that tongue in cheek is how I talk about my mother-in-law. There's a certain body language when you say it that
There
you don't
is
have to say anything more. I
there is
was
a
I was
little.
so worried for you. So I just wanted to ask you because the audience really lapped it up. एक दो बार I think खामोश हो गया, but then you were setting up a joke and then they did laugh as well. So is it because I've actually never seen anyone be that open on let's say the great powers of India.
It's okay. It's like
For the last
audience
time
wise,
कुछ कहना है.
it's no, audience is fun. Audience is fine. Also, it's just because mostly in a show, in a comedy show, people are getting the context and they are in that mood. So otherwise, internet audience and the way internet sees that bit, it's just out of nowhere because just 5 minutes before that you were reading some article and that. But mostly audience there in that show, they are in it, so they are in the mood. So it is
He's
fine.
being very modest. Amit, have you seen his bits? The
Not yet,
political
but
bits,
now
especially. You must see them. He's a real master. He starts with Rahul Gandhi and all. Let's say low-hanging fruit where everybody laughs and nobody looks around because there was sharam aane ka moment nahi hai usme. So he starts with those kind of things and slowly makes his way to what he really wants to talk about. But when he does, you can see his neck crooks a little bit. The body language changes. It's like now, aa gaya main course pe. I really enjoyed it. It was really funny and it was extremely edgy. I would think,
Thank you.
honestly.
that
So I was
I'm
quite
really
impressed.
keen to see it. So
You must. Please,
it was
people who watch the
shared.
show, go and watch Ganguly ji. He's pulling no punches, which is rare for our people. One or two who have spent many days in, what should we say, another state for no reason. Guests of the state. Sorry, Amit.
No, it's really interesting. So your the bit that I think that you're talking about was shared by somebody who I knew like a long time ago. So she used to work with me like 10, 12 years ago. And initially, I thought she shared it because it was like a Bengali connection, but then now apparently she shared it because of the lefty connection. Now I'm realizing that
Which
was
is the
probably
same
the
thing
reason.
about a
In
generation
some
ago.
ways, in some
You wouldn't have to
ways.
say that. You would all be coming to the
It's the
same
same.
place.
Yeah.
Leftist, Bengali, sab hai. All that's gone now. But like I said, I was just worried because when we play audiences and all that, you can't tell for sure. There's a collective which has a certain style, but there's enough people in any audience which are not part of that collective. So I was just wondering whether he would get heckled, but not at all. Nobody, they lapped it up.
So
And this is a proper Delhi audience. I'm presuming this is a proper upper middle class Delhi audience, which is a mixed bag, right? Generally,
Yeah.
politically speaking.
I feel like the worm has turned a little bit, right? I mean, like in the sense that like I see a lot more people these days unhappy with the prime minister than was there a while ago, right? I mean, like whether it is the all the financial stuff or the corona stuff or the economy stuff or all of this, right? I feel like there's definitely, it feels like there's a marked decrease in support, at least from the
Or
people I know.
verbal support, maybe, right? I
For
think
the
they still
comedy to
support a bit.
work, you've got to, I think, on two levels, either agree with exactly what he's saying and, whatever, the oppressor and the oppressed or whatever, or at least admire his courage. Because there's also nervous laughter, which you pick up if you listen to the audience in these bits. There is enough nervous laughter, which I think Indians are also scared to laugh about certain holy cows. So whether they support him or not, they don't want it to be too clear. But then they
Yeah.
warm up, and then they're not holding back. Because then the bindas moment happens after a point. I wish I
Right.
could see the audience, because you could see them going from first gear like a car to second gear, then third gear. Then he also is more polished about it because now he's not worried. So now he's being more open about it. But you should see his face. There's a certain movement of the head and all which he does when he uses the word, the names, etc. Where he's like really lapping it up. I don't think he wants money. He just enjoys it. He's like, I'll be a bitch about this guy and these guys, and I don't care about anything else. It's good fun.
Yeah.
Good to
It
watch.
is.
Well,
It
what is
is
the bit?
good fun.
Is there a way to? What's the link if people want to go and see it?
Just I think Abhijit Ganguly on YouTube. I
Hey
think they
Gandu,
would be.
इतना
Yeah.
footage मत खाओ. They
No,
don't know the
but
complete works. I want to
he
show
has
them
so
one
many
bit.
videos. Go check out all his
Yeah,
videos.
I mean, there's some different. So Abhijit, even if you, I mean, Abhijit Ganguly, it's weird to say this, but Abhijit Ganguly, Modi ji will also give like 4-5 videos.
No, you
So
set
it
up
would
your
be like
father in
three,
that
four.
also, or your father-in-law as the opposition in that also. I thought that was
And
also
he's
nicely done.
he's
Ek pair
Gujarati.
idhar, ek pair udhar. So he's smartly thought it through. कि, there's a question of some alliance in the same family. I think that's one way to keep us safe in India. So look, my aunt is BJP, my uncle is Congress, so it's okay. We are all mixed
Arey,
like that.
so my wife's surname is Shah. For the longest time, I kept introducing she's Amit Shah's niece. And everyone was like, okay, good. Then you can say whatever, no matter, no wonder. So yeah,
Wow. But is she any relation of
no.
anybody? And what
Our,
and in truth, what is the political leanings of the in-laws?
In-laws, yeah. Father-in-law is
Shahs, dude.
fiercely pro Modi and pro BJP and everything. Yeah.
Oh,
That's for
Conan के
sure.
साथ शादी किया? He allowed it?
I honestly, our shadi was about to get cancelled because this was the first time they were meeting. This was right after Delhi election, in which Aam Aadmi Party had won for the first time, in which they resigned after a month or something. And this was the first time they were meeting. Bengali parents and Gujarati parents already were very like, what will happen, what will not. And suddenly small talk, how they just papa logs have 3-4 topics of small talk only: real estate, sports, weather, and then it comes to politics. And then suddenly father goes like, so whom did you vote for? And my father's like, I voted for change, I voted for Aam Aadmi Party. He's like, आपने बीजेपी को वोट नहीं किया, मोदी जी को वोट नहीं किया? He's like, but Modi ji was not even this is state election. He's like, नहीं, but Modi ji को वोट नहीं किया. And I'm just nervous like, holy, what
But
is
this is
gonna happen?
on the other hand, this is a great symbol of democracy, that you could have a very hardcore supporter of a certain government which is supposed to be right, and you have a completely left, at least left liberal comedian, and the marriage is accepted. Would you say, Amit, that's not a bad sign then for India
But, I mean, like,
in a way?
it's probably the most encouraging "hum saath hai" kind of moment that you can imagine, right? That this actually went through.
Wait,
Yeah.
we must play the relevant music for this kind of moment
We,
when the podcast is viewed and downloaded years later. Yeah.
uh,
Huh.
I
Sorry.
was
No,
just,
no. So,
yeah, sorry,
jokes
go.
apart, there was no problem. There was no problem in the thing went through and all after that. Matlab,
No, I think went through only after. I mean, I was
does
just
he?
very nervous. I'm like, "Arey, chai thandi ho rahi hai, chai thandi ho rahi hai, please stay on the chai." But yeah, after that, the
Those
topics
so
got changed.
Does Shah Bhai actually watch the comedy ever? I mean, especially the edgy, in your face sort of government
So
bashing.
earlier it was all subtle. So he would be sending me, कि अरे राहुल गांधी ने किया, राहुल गांधी पे जोक क्यों नहीं करते
Acha,
तुम,
he's your
राहुल
Rahul
गांधी पे
Gandhi
जोक.
writer.
Yeah,
Because your
see,
Rahul writes there,
this
and I
joke,
include
yeah.
this.
Include this and all that. I'd be like, nah, yeah, हाँ, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. Now it has come into full on frontal discussion only, where he goes like, अरे तुम यही कर रहे हो, ये कर रहे हो, कर. I'm like, अरे. Then it becomes full. So now we try to avoid political topics between the two of us, because it just gets very weird in the
And,
house.
and
So
sorry to ask this last personal question. Where's your wife place in all this? Ultimately, that is her father also, So
no,
I'm
no,
just
no. I
thinking.
mean, but that's exactly what Amit was saying. No, right now, so lot of people. I mean, lot of sensible people have veered away from even earlier, who used to think, because earlier a lot of it was there could be a change. So there could be a change. There could be a change from corruption. That's how they viewed Modi or BJP, as that he would be an agent of change. But now a lot of people have realized change. Like, wow,
The
corruption is
wrong
way better
change.
than
Change ka
corruption is way
chatta.
better than
Yeah,
just
yeah. Go for
dying
it. Go for it. Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people, like, she's full on shifted
No,
right
but
now.
now you've given me hope. If a family can be actually divided politically in India in this political setup, maybe 10 years
Yeah,
ago it wouldn't matter so much, but definitely now, and you can carry on with it. I mean, you're a proper vocal critic. Your modern day critic is a comedian in many ways. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. And if something goes viral and all, it bites them on the bum. So I'm just saying the fact that you are a house divided and still standing is great. That's what democracy is all about. I
absolutely.
wish my
Same.
parents were on the other
Fingers
side.
crossed.
Oh, अरे ठीक है. We'll find you another wife, another family. Don't worry about it, beta.
That polygamous joke will be about me. Why did I cross the aisle?
Wow, unbelievable the way
Yeah.
the way that happened. Yeah, anyway, so everybody go check out Abhijit's this thing. Log into, I don't know, he won't tell us what it is, but he's
YouTube,
got lots
Abhijit
of
Ganguly. Yeah,
YouTube
YouTube,
Abhijit Ganguly
yeah,
vignettes, and
yeah.
go for the political ones. They are really interesting. I think it'll be fun just to watch. Well, Sylvie, a lot of comedians these days fearless like Abhijit, or just a few.
I mean, there are a few. It depends from comic to comic. Some comics are not interested in being political and being like
But
going
wouldn't it be about the
easy.
audience? Wouldn't you be thinking about the audience more than like the material in that sense? You have to marry the material to the audience.
So there's a way to do
Doesn't-
it, right? Like the way you said it, Abhijit like first massaged the audience with like
Yeah,
Rahul Gandhi jokes and like
yeah. He
got them
started
comfortable. Okay, oh,
vegetarian,
he's
and
gonna
yeah,
be making fun of everyone, and then
yeah.
after making Rahul Gandhi jokes, then you make jokes on Modi. Then people can't really get that offended. Okay, oh, why aren't you making jokes on Rahul Gandhi? But you can say I
But
just made them.
again, it's a strange thing. The bullying nature of the situation is such that when he's talking Rahul Gandhi and softer things, the laughter is very full throated. Like there's no nervous laughter. When he switches for the first time and takes on the big man, the very first time, there's like a pin drop and there's a chuckle and it's a very, your hair stands up a little bit because it's suddenly like there's a switch. The dynamic is switched completely. And then slowly you find there's something more and more supportive. I actually was watching to think, oh God, kuch hua hai, in all this, like people got up or something. I actually thought that would happen, but it actually goes the other way. So, did you feel scared
Abhijit,
about Abhijit when doing this, like
Not
with
really.
audiences?
Never have. That
But you've been
hasn't
stabbed
happened.
and all this. Ye to kya hai? This is nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a man
once
who nearly
you.
died for his art, not for
I
his
didn't
art, for
get
parking
stabbed. I
cars,
got knifed.
which is
I
part of a
got knifed.
comedian's life. Nice,
I didn't
nice.
knife. Yeah, there's a
Which
difference.
means I have to tell you that we were doing the show for MTV, whose name I now forget, but Center Fruit is behind it. And Amit Andan was one of the guest judges.
huh,
So I spent
Yeah.
a day with him. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very
Oh.
sweet. Yeah, we abused you for 15-20 minutes. He was very nice like that. But he's too nice. He doesn't abuse enough. I tried.
Yeah.
Well, like whoever my friends, I always put them down. I thought that's what friends are all about. You mentioned Kunal, I abuse him, and then I abuse his family, then I abuse everything about him, his culture, whatever he's left behind. So I want to do that with you, but he didn't give me enough. After some time, it was like, I love him. हाथ पकड़ के घूमने के लिए जाते हैं हम दोनों गेड़ी
Amit,
गेड़ी मार के आते हैं हम दिल्ली में yeah
Amit, even when
but
he has to reject a joke, he does it in such a fatherly manner. Like, you tell a joke, ये funny है?
uh, yeah yeah
नहीं,
yeah yeah, yeah.
नहीं,
He
ये
does.
तो बहुत ही खराब है.
But
Such a
while
sweet.
telling your story to the boys, we were sitting, discussing the show, and we're sitting around, and he's telling the story because I explained the whole setup and that whole knife thing and all. So he told the whole story, and it went from Abhijit's story to Amit's story. That I have to tell you, because the second part of the story, which is equally, it is bad. I do accept that he's suddenly in the middle of Delhi with this fancy car, Scorpio, I think Scorpio tha na?
Yeah,
Big
Scorpio.
car, which is a car that a police will look at. The Scorpio looks menacing and all that, and it's covered in blood. all Abhijit's blood is in the backseat, and he's driving around at 2 in the morning with this situation. Yeah, that was like a shot
So
from a film,
the
man.
first thing I had to do while like with the stitches and coming out in a wheelchair from the OR was like 10 11 comedians all bloody vultures. I'm like, अगर इस पे कोई bit करेगा तो मैं करूँगा. I knew everybody will try to make it about themselves.
Oh, great.
So, yeah.
And they did. Unbelievable. Yeah. Okay, let's start the formal show. 15 minutes of
Yes,
talking
sure.
about Abhijit Ganguly's greatness. Enough?
No. Let's move on from one great comic to another. We already addressed it a little bit yesterday in the Snehil Khanor episode, and the great Norm Macdonald passed away just day before yesterday at night is when we found out. He passed at the age of 61 years old only. He had been suffering from cancer for the last 9 years and hadn't told almost anyone. Most of his family also did not know. He fought it just commendably and bravely
Kept
himself.
quiet. Apparently,
Yeah.
people do it two ways with cancer. They either like to just keep quiet and just pretend nothing's happened so nobody else gets affected, which is a little self-sacrificial, or they, they tom it.
I don't know about that. I
No,
would
so
disagree
I think
with that.
what I would say that
keeping it quiet.
So there's you can keep it quiet to an extent, right? But I feel that at some point,
So what's the motivation for keeping it quiet? Is my point.
well,
Whether it's successful.
no, I get it. So see, as a comic, right? If you're on stage and you tell people that you have cancer, you don't want that to become your hook, and people to always be
Right.
constantly thinking, "Oh, this guy has cancer. Should I laugh at his joke more, or give him some kind of any kind of sympathy at all?"
But if you're on your
Knowing
last
Norm
legs, what
Macdonald-
do you care? Do you really
I
care?
mean, he was
If
still
you've got a year
performing,
to
right?
go or
Like,
something.
I don't know how much he was performing in the lockdown, but he had been performing till like 2 years back before the lockdown. He was like very active in the comedy scene, and his
Appeared in
entire
Conan and all
thing
during the
was
pandemic.
his entire thing was not being pigeonholed as that kind of a comic. He was so unpredictable and so just so different than anything else and so unique that I think any pigeonholing of any kind
He
would have
also-
been his like.
Didn't he have this way of just changing the rhythm of the other guy? Because he'd be really slow with long pauses and everything just changes completely, which in itself, the treatment was so funny, And
Yeah, his joking, like so. I first saw, I remember seeing the Saturday Night Live stuff, right? Which I don't think we got
Yeah.
over here in India, but
We can
I
do
was
it.
in college at the time when he was doing it, right? So I mean,
Oh, wow.
I used to watch it all the time. He did in the early '90s when I was in
Is
college.
that
right?
would you consider that era your favorite cast? Because famously,
What's it?
Lorne Michael says that I can always tell how old someone is by
their favorite cast.
by
Yeah, it is.
their favorite cast, like how old someone is, because that's when they
Okay,
went to college.
I won't mention
When they
Eddie
went to
Murphy, guys. I'll
Oh.
just stay out of the conversation.
No, so, but again, the thing is, so no, I think that is true. I think that's 100% true, right? I mean, like for me, my favorite is Mike Myers, Dana Carvey, Norm Macdonald, Kevin
Nice.
Nealon.
Yeah.
Chris Rock was in there, I think, for a year or so. But this was a group that I really enjoyed, right? I never really got into the Will Ferrell and all the rest of them who came in later, right?
Oh, he's great.
Not in the same way. No, he is great. But I love Will
But
Ferrell.
you're saying
He's
as a collective,
fantastic.
you like these guys.
Yeah, this was the
Like,
group that Tim
As a
Meadows.
collective, you like Congress from the 2010 era versus, let's say, Janata Dal of 70s. I'm just trying to Indianize it a bit.
The way he did it, right? The way he did the Saturday Night Live news, right? Because there was a
Weekend
like
update.
before Norm,
That's called Weekend Update.
weekend update. But before he was doing it, there was Dennis Miller who used to do it, and Dennis Miller was really good at it too. But the way Norm Macdonald did it, the jokes were just, I don't know what, but I mean, like they were just somehow more good natured. Dennis Miller was a little mean. This guy was good natured, but at the same time, he could be like he could make
Extremely
like
edgy.
such a sharp joke.
Yeah.
There's no
Right?
malice with him, no matter how bad it is. The
Yeah.
actual joke,
Cyrus-
you always
Cyrus
feel
Mike.
he's like a.
That's Mike.
Like he.
Which
he-
side is
he-
it? Silvery?
It's on the right side.
Oh shit! Just testing.
So I saw a bunch of clips of his right over the last few days, and like one of them was all of the things that he did around the O.J. Simpson murder,
Oh
which
man,
is what
it was
essentially
so
got him
good.
fired, right?
One
And
of
it
my
was
favorite
so
jokes.
funny.
So there's this channel, right? I'm sure.
Cyrus,
I'm sure
you
when you went-
because you're breathing right into it.
Okay. I'm sure,
Sorry.
Amit, when you saw these videos, a lot of them were from a YouTube channel called I'm Not Norm.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend anyone to go check out that channel, because if you like Norm Macdonald, I would like to get introduced to his comedy. So there's this one video. I think the one you saw, Amit, was constantly shitting on OJ. Is the name of the video, right? And in that, one of my favorite jokes ever is Norm talking about so like constantly shitting on OJ, right? Like every joke is about this, he definitely did it. He's obviously the murderer, whatever. Okay. And one of the jokes was that in his memoir, OJ wrote that he would have taken a bullet for Nicole or stepped in front of a train for her. Now that's just bad luck. The only man who could have saved you kills you.
Yeah, and he's
great.
he's incredible in those jokes. I mean, I think also he's got.
Amit, sorry, but I think at this point, me and Abhijit have to discuss the accent that was used there. I think his hairstyle has changed completely.
Black guy. Did you just make
What is it? Chembur Powai area?
I don't know what that was.
That's an American accent.
Norm's cancer most of his problems because subcontinental comics are copying his style, and it's like very different.
You know what though? I mean, like Antariksh doing his American accent, is that not similar to Hank Azaria doing his Apu accent and all the rest of the
so
drama?
touchy, so touchy.
But again, you can't be racist against white people. It's just how it goes.
Oh, come on,
Famously.
that's not true.
I know.
Can we show a mark of insensitivity for a second and make some jokes now? Like I was just thinking, if Norm Macdonald dies, shouldn't Burger King also be shut for a day as a mark of respect?
Let me ask you guys this though: have you ever seen the Norm Macdonald clip on Conan O'Brien where the actress from Melrose Place is on with them?
Yes,
Courtney,
fantastic.
The best,
That is the single
legendary.
best late night clip I think I've ever.
He says, "Can you come back now? Can you give me a comeback on this one?" And all.
No, he goes. So what's the name of the movie you have coming up with Carrot Top? And she goes, "It's called Board." What?
Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board.
Yeah, and he's like, do something with that.
Then Colin says, "Come on, now give me something.
do something with that. You
do something with that, man." And he says,
and Norm goes, I bet board is spelled B-O-R-E-D. And man, what a perfect moment. That is so genius.
No, and the whole
I
clip
just love
is
his
hilarious.
style.
It's not just that, right? If you watch the whole 7-minute clip,
entire episode,
7-minute clip is insane. I've never seen something. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, because I don't think that this was really early Conan, right? And so nobody ever talks shit about other guests.
Yeah.
When they're sitting right there, right? But this was really early, so people just did it. It was insane. It was just absolutely hilarious. I thought it was
in his defense, Carrot Top generated a lot of humor, and he wasn't exactly there, but she was representing him, being the co-star, etc. And you can't say Carrot Top and not have a joke coming in 2 minutes. Who the hell picks a name like Carrot Top and expects to have just respect and reverence everywhere they go? But coming back to Norm, sorry, go on.
So Carrot Top was actually most of these comedians hated him because he was selling out huge Vegas shows, but he was doing prop comedy, which everybody thinks is cheap comedy.
Yeah.
So everybody hated him.
Taliban would have liked him.
Huh?
Norm was a good guest almost anywhere he went. Like almost all of his talk show appearances are worth checking out, or especially the Letterman and the Conan ones. But also, like, you can check him out on Jimmy and also on Fallon.
His energy was so unique.
Always.
Silvery compared to the normal American Canadian comics here. He had this whole rhythm, which was never phased by the other person. You feed off the energy to someone like me who's a little fast or whatever. You feed off the other people. He actually went reverse. He just got into his own Zen-like way of talking. Long jokes going nowhere, but always funny. I mean, the moment he starts talking, it's funny. You don't even
need a joke. Like, it's a street joke. It's such a famous street joke that everyone knows. But the way he does it is
Conan is dying inside. He's like, what? When will this end?
So that's the story, when he had just a 1-minute bit and he wanted to try it as a 4-minute bit.
Exactly. That's exactly the story of it.
He gave them names. The WhatsApp names like something Ilyavich and all that, Gregorio Ilyavich. And he's elongated the gag in this stupid way. Really funny.
His famous last set on Letterman's last show, and Norm was the guest on that episode, and he has this bit about Germany, right, about World War II, about how Germany decided to, like, I don't know if you guys are history buffs or anything, but and he'll do a lot of
he does a lot of
but earlier in the 20th century, Germany decided to go to war, and who does Germany decide to go to war with? The world,
the whole world.
and you think it would be an easy win for the world, but no, Germany actually came close
twice.
Oh man.
Okay, now
Gene is
pause
on.
because Abhijit and I have to have a discussion about this accent. Your German accent. Because that's what I was trying
But
to.
this was slightly better. I don't know why,
Yeah,
but
it's
it,
getting
I think the
better.
second
because
attempt it
he
got.
has so many ahs. It sounded a little bit like Norm. I
Yeah.
think that's the reason why this sounded a
No,
little
it
better.
actually does sound like Norm, but it sounds like us doing an American accent of Norm. But it does.
The
He does
first
get
one,
the his
honestly, it was
rhythm is close.
the first one was horrible by Antariksh. I was like,
Yeah, the first one was not good.
what is wrong? Like, he was, I couldn't even like
That's how
nobody
you
could even get a race of the person the way he was doing. Like, he was
and this is a mark of respect for a great man, an icon who's passed from your own breed, your own tribe. So in a sense, have we done the wrong thing? No,
Have
but
you
Silvery is
all
his biggest fan. So
uh,
it's always the emotional connect there. Yeah.
have you all heard the
Silvery,
story of his Bob Saget roast jokes?
you'll have to remind me. I've seen
Okay,
lots of Norm.
so he's done. So he did this whole roast of Bob Saget, and Bob Saget, even though he's the guy from Full House, right? He's famously known as like the most blue comedian who's ever existed, right? He's
Yeah, like the
just so
dirtiest comic. Yeah.
filthy. He's
Yeah.
Yeah.
filthy like you would not believe, right? So
Yeah.
what Norm Macdonald did at his roast was he basically took a bunch of 50s jokes and started making those like really, really like extremely anodyne jokes with all of the guests who were there. And it was like an 18-minute long set where he was making like the stupidest, like the your polygamy joke, or why did the chicken cross the road, get to the
Yeah.
other side, making
Yeah.
all of these jokes on all of these different people, but they were all these like really 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 simple jokes like from the
Yeah.
1950s. And it was like it looks so stupid, but like you're 3 minutes into it, 4 minutes into it, you can't stop laughing because these jokes are so lame, but he
Yeah.
just pulls them off in
See,
such
I'm
an
telling you,
amazing way.
Amit, there is a thing, a saying in English about the singer, not the song. I mean, like, do singers make songs or do songs, the writing make the song? But the
Right, yeah.
argument's both ways. But he's clearly like the singer makes the song.
Yeah.
His treatment is more important than the actual content always. It's him.
Absolutely.
And that's what we like about him. And he's such a unique voice that we all remember him distinctly. And one of us has decided to make that into a divine sort of contribution of impression that we've ever seen of Norm Macdonald, which will live in the ethos of Indian culture forever. And
Ah. Ah.
will we do we blame the BJP government for this impression? Abhijit Ganguly, you tell me. किसकी गलती है?
all when in doubt, Modi ji. So, but
So,
I mean, because I think I briefly were touching that subject. How do you guys feel about the fact that he kept it like to himself, his cancer and everything? For
Yeah, coming
me,
back to that, yeah.
I mean, for me, it's a big deal, really big deal, and it
Yeah.
speaks volumes about him as a person because it's a very
yeah.
You mean
almost
courageous
old
like
world.
that?
Not just courageous, because that would be saying that anybody who does not do that is lacking courage. So it's not really courageous or something, but it speaks about how his thing of I don't want any form of it's
Attention.
again, because anything you say that
What are you
is,
saying?
it
He
will
would
be
not
seemed as
milk it.
otherwise for anybody who's in a different
Yeah.
position.
True,
Yeah.
true.
So that's why it would be
Also,
unfair
how
to
can
say.
we judge anyone who's got cancer? It's not right for us to judge how you react to it.
Oh,
That's another tough one. But I think it's basically he just didn't want the attention. What you said in the beginning, he just didn't want to make a big fuss about everything else, and he just wanted to do his thing. And so yeah, it's like a comedic warrior for me. It's like I'll just do my thing and go. That's it. So
But
which
it is
easier said than
possible
done.
though, like slightly insensitive this might seem, but isn't it slightly
This is
possible?
the right place.
Like,
Yeah, go on.
no. Like how Chadwick Boseman also didn't tell anyone about his cancer, right, before his death, famously. And same thing, Norm Macdonald. So is it at all possible that this becomes now the new the new trend kind of, where people are like, okay, if I get cancer, I won't tell anyone just because I want to seem like the guy who
it
was
might
kind of
like
cool or
trend
something.
amongst whom's
It's
trend
not like
amongst
a haircut,
whom.
yeah, Silvery. You can't just get up and say, I'll follow this guy.
Okay.
You just
And you
react
can't make
differently.
yourself
I
get
mean,
cancer also, yeah.
yeah, also,
Yeah.
who's to say how you're going to react? I mean, we'll say something, but if it happened to us, how we react will not have any bearing on what we've said just now. I don't know. I think there's no point getting into beyond. It's his personal thing. That's how we dealt with it now. What else can we do?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. But how?
It
I
is
only think.
sad.
Sorry. Yeah.
But for me,
Sorry, no,
somehow
say-
it just adds to the aura also. Little bit.
Absolutely.
It does add to the aura. I mean, I know it's not like otherwise also it's not, this is the right way or something wrong with. There's nothing like that. But just adds to the aura, and you understand, like you would understand that, yeah, Norm Macdonald would do this. So
Yeah.
I don't
But-
know. It's somehow, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. It seems like him, right? It absolutely is like exactly who he is, that he would do something like that. And I get that. I mean, like that you'd want to do that. I get a lot of people want to do that. I don't know though, right? I mean, like I feel like cancer is really a difficult thing, right? In that sense, because I've had some experiences recently which just kind of which I didn't fully process in some ways, but it was somebody who I knew well, who I was close to, passed away from cancer, and I met him twice in his last 6 months. I didn't know he had cancer, and I feel a little like, I wish I knew.
Guilty.
Yeah, because I would have gone more often to see them, right? And I would have made more of an effort. And I was in a I was in a position at that point where I really had a lot of stuff on my plate. So it would have not been impossible for, so I was preoccupied, but at the same time, it would not have been impossible for me to go and meet this person once a week or something like that. When
So you
he was
almost,
suffering like
it's almost begrudging, a little angry that the person has not told you, because now
But
you got to deal with the fact that you didn't do the right thing.
isn't
that.
that
Yeah.
exactly maybe the what like I'm not saying this. I hope like in that situation I don't know what the relation with that
Yeah.
person is, but people might not want to get that feeling that just because of this somebody's meeting me more or something like that, or coming more often to meet me.
That's
Maybe
true.
they don't want that.
There's a
So that's
matlabi side
exactly
to
why.
that then, or maybe
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a tough one. Now, if you
I don't
damned if
want
you
that
go,
weird.
damned if you don't go.
Yeah, it's a
I don't know, right? I mean, like I feel regret about not spending more time with him and when he passed. But at the same time, you're right. He did not want people to see him like that.
No, and
it's
and
a
I think it's like the Paul Anka song wrongly given to Frank Sinatra, who of course made it famous by singing it. He did it his way, my way,
Yeah.
literally. And if you look at the way his comedy is my way, he's an individualist, is individual. He's very individualistic in his style. Everything about him, he's just different. He didn't bother, and he doesn't get pulled in by other forces. If you watch him perform, he never becomes part of anything else. He's him.
if you
So that's the
if
way
you
he died as
compare it
well.
to the complete opposite of I'm forgetting her name, but there's this female comic who had the complete opposite situation. She just got to know that she had breast cancer,
I
and
remember.
she came to an open mic or or something after that,
And announce it
and
publicly.
her first statement was, I just got to
Yeah.
know that I have cancer. And she did a
Yeah.
bit. I mean, obviously it was a little somber and everything, but
Didn't-
4-5 minutes bit, and it seemed like like it was a masterpiece to just
Yeah, but she
hear
got a
it
huge
and everything.
ovation
Of course, and it
and
was she
support.
got a
So,
huge ovation, and
if you
that
look
bit
at
is
it
very
as,
powerful. So completely opposite end of the spectrum, and as impactful, and it just it's a
I
very
think as long as they're true to their nature, I
aren't
suppose
you?
people should just do what comes.
Are you thinking about Tig Notara?
I think so. Yeah,
Pink
yeah, 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 yeah,
Notara.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah,
a pretty
yeah,
well
yeah,
known, and
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
yeah,
she
yeah.
had
I'm
like a
sorry.
whole special which was based around breast cancer.
And after that, and that bit was released by I think Louis C.K. on his on his website or something, and
Right,
that got
right, right, right,
popular.
right.
And after that, she got the special for that. So
So
yeah,
here's what we do. Let's make a pact right now as four musketeers to decide if we are got any terminal disease. How do we want to deal with it? So that it's off our chest now. We've made a public comment. I want no one to bother me, just like I lived. Stay the fuck away. Okay? Just
Yeah.
leave me alone. Yeah. I'm quite happy to die alone.
no
But
wonder wolf is your favorite animal.
yeah, pack animals to life. But Abhijit, well, what do you want? How can you answer it? But try.
I don't even know. Like, I mean, I can say anything, but if you get to know, suddenly you're like, no, 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 I want to tell people. So you just, I mean,
Yeah.
like a stand right now. Yeah, how will I deal with it? It's probably not valid, but I guess I will also feel the same way that not tell people and
You're talking
just
कि अगर सबको पता है then perhaps ना चांदनी चौक में parking भी मिलेगा. वो आ गया. I mean, you can do something to get
see.
something out of it.
I'm going to be like, अरे नहीं बताते. But if I suddenly get to know, कि अरे बताने से ये सब हो सकता है, then I'll be like, फिर देख लेते हैं बता के. मतलब, you
Yeah.
can get
People will
these
start
things. So,
treating you. You know how people treat
yeah.
people. That just starts becoming. It's not like they're being fake. There is concern, but they don't know how to treat you normal after that. You see that around you when you see someone is sick. Everyone is trying to put the chair for the person, get the food. That's. I don't know if that helps the
And
person. I
and
know the
that's
intent is good. There's no bad intent.
and there are very few people, let's be honest, there are very few people who are able to be normal and respectful after that also. There
Yeah,
majority of people are just very कि अरे बेचारा, and that would
that's
probably just
what.
irk you so
Yeah,
much. So
Of course it
so
will. I
that
feel.
is yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
especially before. Sorry, go on.
No, sir,
No,
I have no idea. I have no idea
No,
how to deal with this
I'll
because
just go back to my favorite Kunal story. We started this. We have to take a break now with the mention of that evil man. And I remember I've told you this story before. We went for a brunch many years back, and the brunch Mumbai में Delhi में पता नहीं क्या होता है. Mumbai में कुर्सी नहीं होता है brunch पे. For some reason, there's no concept of you have to stand. And he was getting really irritated. And there's one paraplegic man in the room with a wheelchair, And he goes and stands next to him and says, I really appreciate that you got your own chair. And he didn't say it like a joke. And Aisha was standing next to him. She turned blue and looked away. She was like, because you don't know how this guy will react. Abhijit, that gentleman who's a very high up in the corporate world, lovely guy, he loved Kunal. No one talks to him like that. No one talks to him in this bland, frank way. And he later on, when we became closer and friends, I could ask him, and he said, "No, nobody talks. Look at the way they treat me. Otherwise, I just want to be normal." So he's the only boy who comes and has a normal conversation, forgetting whether my situation and saying about his problems, because nobody talks about their problems. You always go to that guy and say, "How are you feeling?" The great Vijay, full of himself. He doesn't care whether you're paraplegic or not.
Taking the wheelchair to cross the road. But मुझे उधर ही रहना था रे. I didn't want to cross the road.
Hello, we've got an idea for our next sitcom.
So
Perfect.
if I what I would do is I would Larry David the situation. I would use it as an excuse wherever I can, like
get out of everything.
You have to get out of stuff. If I don't want to go somewhere, hey man, I just found out I got cancer. Don't tell anyone. Don't make sure to tell those people not to tell anyone else.
Even more insensitive moments, like when someone asks him for money for their child to eat food, it'll be like a desperate situation. I wish I could, but
I got cancer. Yeah.
Dealing with this. Yeah. Great.
Oh, man.
Amit, what would you do?
Yeah.
I think I'd tell people who I'm close to, but I don't think I'd spread it far and wide.
It's tough to keep these things quiet
I had
once
a
you
very
tell one
evil joke
person.
right now, but I'll
Bolo.
let it pass.
We need some jokes. It's too somber.
See, with the three of us, even if we are getting a treatment, it would be evident. Amit can dodge that also, no? So
I get it. That's evil.
Yeah, but
That's mean.
So, yeah,
That's
was,
beautiful.
So, but
We need to take
yes, there's an
अभी
advantage.
कुछ नहीं बोल अभी इसके बाद माफी मांगने से कुछ नहीं होता है. I mean, come on, yaar. There's the dignity of the gag. You think he's dumb enough to believe?
The problem
Sorry,
is, I
yaar.
don't want it to be a shitty ball joke. Okay, I don't like. Yeah, that's not. I want it to be.
He appreciates it. It's
Yeah, not a
creative.
ball joke.
It goes through a whole spectrum of things. You put in a washing machine and brought it out. It's not just ball joke.
Yeah, I just didn't want it to be categorized as that.
Honestly, I'm not sensitive about ball jokes.
He's not sensitive about
But ball jokes are so lame. Why would anybody do a ball joke? So that's
they
I
are,
look down upon ball jokes. So
I
that's why
agree
I
with
was
you.
like, yeah.
Ganguly Saab, mere dost or my old friend circle, one or two boys, two actually, went through very bad times about ball jokes. We could not say anything. We could say mummy daddy abuse. We could say community abuse to each other. But we could say one guy used to get really angry. He always had tears in his eyes once, one argument, because he was dealing with early days. In your ask Amit, the early days, Amit, it may not have been easy. 20s and 30s ki baat hai. Late 20s and early 30s, we were losing hair. Amongst the boy gang and all. It's sometimes a difficult thing to handle. Because the others are all full. Our hair is at its best at 30.
Yeah, but again, so I lost mine when I was 20, right? And I've
That's what I'm
always
saying.
been pretty okay with it for the most part. I don't think
You
I've
said you
had
had those uncles and all around, no?
I have a lot of family which is bald. Everybody in my family is bald.
We didn't want to feel out of place.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Lot of people in the family remove their hair when they come for the function. Jinke paas baal hai, because it looks out of place, yaar. You can make cancer jokes. This is nothing. This is not even encouraging. Fucker, I am going to join the BJP and come after you. I'm going to start a cell. Delhi comics who make fun after making Rahul Gandhi jokes and fooling the audience. Left say right gaya. No, right say left gaya. Whatever, left say right gaya. I don't know. Let's take a break. Our break is over. Light is on. We are back. Wow.
A couple of things that I want to mention about Norm Macdonald. I don't know. Have you guys heard his deeply closeted joke? The one where he goes, so he did this on multiple shows, okay? But every time
But
he
you
would
have to do
it
the accent.
differently.
There's now
Yeah, of
in the
course.
chat, people are saying there's no accent, they're walking out.
So Norm used to go like, I remember on Larry King's show, right? He was on Larry King's show, and Larry King asked him, "What's one thing about you that would surprise people?" And Norm goes, "That surprises people. That I'm a deeply closeted gay man." And so Larry King goes, "So you mean what? You mean so you're gay?" You're like, "What? How dare you? What are you, crazy?" I'm deeply closeted. Genius, that guy.
Dude, you're nailing it. Dude, by the like, if we do 3-4 more times, I think we can just.
Yes, it's improving with every performance. Let's end this with only 20 minutes of Norm.
This is an open mic for him for Norm Macdonald impression.
Post good news and bad news. Norm chale gaye, but We've got our Norm, who's getting better with every minute.
Yeah.
Eh, not bad.
Okay, and finally, there's this other bit where he was again on Conan's show, right? This is right when Conan has been fired from the Tonight Show, but he has like the last couple
He
of
comes
weeks
as
left.
support.
He comes as
correct.
so he comes as a guest to basically
a present?
Conan is thinking with a present and a card. Conan thinks, oh, it's like to give me farewell, but Norm is like, no, like this is, I haven't come this entire time since you got the job. So this is me coming here to congratulate you on getting this job in the first place. So basically, the entire thing is just him reading out the letter, going, Conan, I would like to congratulate you for becoming the permanent host of the Tonight Show, and it's great. This is something they can never take away from you, and the crowd is losing it. So good.
Yeah.
This, I just miss that we will never get like a new thought from this genius comedian, like a new joke or a new anything
that's the
from him.
Simple jeans and t-shirt or shirt with a cap. You wouldn't even recognize him if you saw him in Toronto, where the hell he's from. I feel
that way so strongly about Patrice O'Neill as well. Like this,
I get it.
The world will miss every new thought from that man. That's just God. Yeah. Or probably in the Indian context, even Jaspal Bhatti, so there could have been so much.
Jaspal Bhatti went too early, really. Silvery, can you do Patrice O'Neill's thing? Whatever,
I can do a pretty good Chris Rock. Patrice O'Neill, I was never good at impersonating. Chris Rock.
What is this? Chris Rock, one black comic is all black comic, huh?
No.
I can do Chris
Rock is basically the only comic I can do almost.
You make his comments, you're on the fire.
All of them are same, huh? What is this behavior?
Chris Rock is like one of the only comics I can actually do quite spot on. Or I used to be able to. Let's try it now.
Spot on, bolo the pressure aa gaya.
I mean, so you guys got to shut your eyes though.
This is like America's Got Talent with the three judges.
The three judges.
Okay. My Chris Rock impression is tired of this shit. Wait, I'll do it better. You know what time it is?
He's already fallen.
It's time to settle down. Yo, women always ready to settle down. Yo, men don't settle down. We surrender. Because that's what time it is. It's time to settle down. You gotta settle down. Gotta settle.
The problem is we're looking at it from 2 points of view. The content, which I'm not really paying attention to so much as we're paying more attention to the note.
I forgot his accent.
I could imagine Chris Rock's face and the way he opened his mouth. And the way he was, dude, you're nailing it, man.
That's what. Hey, nice. How he gets it? Awesome.
You have the whole
your Ganguly Ji's fan. He's now become your fan.
Yeah. Now,
I know the Norm Macdonald tribute is not bad at all. It's really gone from a horrible opening attack to where you're right on top now. The bowling is. You're so strong with the IPL and वो सब चला गया बीच में. It was going to be a cricket special.
Yeah, we had some good stories also about people getting money in their bank accounts and all. We couldn't get to that.
We couldn't get to any of. Man, we should not try to do more than one story. We don't have the attention span of. You need attention span of like Japanese scientists nailing it one after another. No, look at us. We've just done impressions of actors from other cultures and artists from other cultures, which is about 27% on, correct, and getting better. That's all we've done for the whole show. Amit, can you do impressions? Because you're the only. He's a genuine American accent. So you at least have that.
I have no impressions at all. I don't do impressions.
Can you do famous iconic lines like Schwarzenegger's "I'll be back" or something? Can you do that much?
Sure, I can do "I'll be back." I can do.
That's not an impression.
I'll be back.
That's what he does. He does say "I'll be back," doesn't he?
Yeah, it's not back. It's more like back. His version is like
I'll be back.
Get to the chopper.
Yeah, get to the chopper. Yes.
Yeah, no, I don't do impressions at all. I can do an impression of myself, maybe.
Yeah, do
That's
that.
called being.
Yeah.
That's just called talking.
No, that's called narcissism. Abhijit, that's called narcissism. You only want to represent yourself. I will do of great
Yeah.
people.
Whole day I've been doing
Yeah,
impression
imagine-
of myself.
Yeah, imagine in school,
I'm
right?
fantastic at it.
Yeah. Imagine in school, a teacher tells Amit, stop talking. No, ma'am, I'm just doing an impression of myself.
Hey, how many Indians friends that we have growing up, when the foreigner talks, they get that accent? How about that? So sometimes
Yeah.
they don't talk like themselves. I've seen so many people they just start getting a half Australian accent with the Australian guy, especially when you're drinking. Have you guys noticed
Yeah.
that? The
Yeah.
moment the poor Firang comes in, everyone's trying to talk like the Firang.
Dude,
I
it's a
would
thing,
want one
right?
guy to come and say, "Oh, bang, what?" Just in the middle, just to change the whole dynamic.
There's
but
this
it's
Indian
No,
comic
sorry.
I keep doing is a way of talking all the time. Sumit Anand Antariksh, you or no? I don't know what is going on. I always keep talking like this. It's a lot of fun. Okay, no response from anybody. So I guess that was bad. Okay,
No,
sorry.
it's funny, except that we don't know who Sumit Anand is.
I think
But he
Antariksh
sounds
knows,
like he's a little
but he's not
anglicized.
giving. Yeah,
Copying some
Antariksh is
English
not
from
Actually,
everybody.
I know who Sumit Anand is.
Yeah.
Not because I know him, but he was one of the guys who
You
did
do
a
his
performance
impression?
at- No, so the same thing. No.
I can actually do a Sumit Anand impression. Not even joking.
I just did it. You
I
did not even
apologize
hear
for
I can
any
do
this
another
show.
one. I can do another
This
one.
show is just,
Okay,
we have
let's
so
both of
many
us talk like
topics.
Sumit Anand.
Now
And
it's
let's see
Sumit
how
Anand, not even
who
Chris
does
Rock.
better Sumit
Okay.
Anand.
Okay,
Okay.
done.
What are you
Okay.
saying? What are you saying, man? Like that does not make any sense.
Okay. Mine is what are you saying, man? That is not like it's supposed to be.
Shut
You
up. You're
are
making
wrong,
him South Indian.
That's
No,
South Indian, yeah.
that's the way he
Yeah.
doesn't do it.
Inflection.
It's always
He
like
does
sing
not.
song kind of voice he has.
He's
That's
doing it
not
more
the
like an
way he
Indian.
talks. That's
Yeah.
not the way he talks. He does not talk like that, man.
That's, yeah, that-
Okay, yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah,
Okay, sorry.
This is not an infantile conversation. This is a very adult conversation. Just carry on,
Yeah,
guys.
This is like what?
I'll build an app in the meantime. There is enough time for that. Yeah, really. Bichara Sumit Anand ne kya kiya? He's still alive, for God's sake. Can you just respect the space? Oh, so is Chris Rock. Right? Chris Rock is alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
I love the checking.
I had a horrible story. I was working in Radio Mirchi once. We had done these Devanand gags. For some reason, me and my partner, and they released them, the vignettes throughout the week. And they had released it, and the day he passed away, they had released some.
Yeah.
God, it was so. And they were, they're all funny-ish, but it's very disrespectful if the guy dies,
Yeah.
And I was like calling them up. He said, but people were already on air and all. They had to pull them up, but they had released them at the same time. And they were running because the vignettes would play in between shows. So uska kuch bharosa bhi nahi hai. Anytime, any place, you're running short, you're going over, you put the vignettes in.
Yeah,
that was
I
sad.
got flack for cracking Arun Jaitley jokes, but that's an older video. And when Arun Jaitley packed some writing,
Guy puts it on, it looks like
he
you've done
puts
it on the spot.
Twitter and
Yeah.
looks like I'm doing Arun
Yeah.
Jaitley jokes, and that's not the way it was supposed
That's
to be.
horribly cruel because people react very emotionally to that. They
Yeah,
never
I
forgive
will.
you. Ki tune kya kiya? What has he done to you? He was a great actor. This and that. And for his time, he was a great
Not a
actor.
great
Yeah.
actor. Okay, but yeah.
Gregory Peck of India, boss. तो क्या बात करता है?
No, I'm not saying Dev Anand. I thought you were saying that for Arun Jaitley. I'm like, Arun Jaitley was not a great. Yeah. But Dev Anand, of course,
Listen,
he's a legend.
Arun
Yeah,
Jaitley is the BJP side which I like. What are you saying? Behave yourself. Don't be mean. All of them have been washed out. My poor Prakash Dekar is gone. All the ones that we wanted to keep in government are gone because of people like you making fun of the government all the time. So the ones who could be transferred towards
Arun Jaitley died. Like, yeah.
let's be very clear. Let's be very clear about that. We've not made anyone die as far as we know, right?
as far as we
आपके
know.
शब्दों से कोई मर गया? You bastard! Oh, sorry.
Especially not Kanna Ranat's
Auntie, I was just sledging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we-
So
should we-
IPL has gone to the back
IPL.
burner, and the fifth test is also going to
When does the IPL thing start?
Sunday,
Okay. So
Dubai, and Abu Dhabi and Sharjah.
who's gonna win?
Delhi.
I'm thinking at the moment three teams. It looks like three teams are in the points table on top, but it's just that Mumbai Indians can't win again. I mean,
That's
it's not good for cricket.
It's too much, yeah. It's getting too much to see.
Too much, yeah.
Indians winning it. It's just,
That's
come
what-
on. Be respectful and let Delhi win, please.
No, I'm very pro Delhi. I also want Delhi. Delhi is great. Delhi is a great team. And Rishabh Pant, man, have you heard him sledging? talk about Sumit Anand's accent. Have you heard Rishabh Pant say,
Singing
इसको तो
Spider-Man
chance नहीं है
songs.
team में, he won't come back in the team, this team pain. Hey, you're not even a regular player in the team. He's sitting in the back and
The worst is when
telling
he's
the
not even sledging and he's just
uh,
laughing. So he's flustered Matthew Wade by just doing that, and he's like all the
uh,
time whenever ball before the ball. And Matthew Wade after a point like, why are you laughing, man? Why are you laughing,
yeah.
man? And he's just not saying anything,
But
just
Indians
laughing.
play with their
So
minds now because Virat is telling him a joke in Punjabi. So in any case, which only he understands. Actually, he's Bihari, but anyway, I'm sure
I'm
he picks it
thinking,
up.
Spider-Man is Spider-Man. तूने चुराया मेरे दिल
चुराया
का
मेरे
चैन.
दिल का चैन.
Wow, it's a different level of sledging.
We should keep the
What,
camera mics on. Yeah, some of it's quite innocuous, a lot of it, but the conversation is great fun sometimes.
Of
You won't make
course.
it in your own 11. What does that even mean? I don't know.
Who did he say this to?
one,
You will
one goal, he goes after Tim Payne. Yeah. So it's there on YouTube somewhere. Somebody sent it to me. He's doing lines like, "You won't make it in your own 11." Matlab, whatever. I see the logic, but at some point I also don't see the logic. What is that? Actually, if it's my 11, how can I not make it in? But I'm so bad that I won't pick myself for my 11. So actually, it's
Wow,
great. Thinking.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. He has probably
Just,
given thought to it and written this down. That
no,
this
no.
is a
This kind
great
of genius is by mistake. There's no way you
improv,
can
huh?
tell me that. You're a Delhi boy. You think it's possible? You tell me. Yeah, they should keep it. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Do they sledge
now,
in the NBA, Amit?
yeah, all the time.
Like, what would they say?
So the most famous one that I can think of right now, right, and this one is kind of vulgar and kind of awful. Kevin Garnett sledged Carmelo Anthony back in the mid 2000s. Carmelo Anthony was married at the time to like this Instagram model or something like that, and Kevin Garnett kept saying "Honey Nut Cheerios, Honey Nut Cheerios," because apparently, and then like later was like, "That's what your wife smells like." And just kept going on like that. It was awful. It was vulgar. It was really this,
They need
but it
Rishabh
was,
Pant.
huh?
They
No,
need
so but
Rishabh.
basically, it got to the point where this guy ran after him and like tried to fight with him after the game and stuff like that. So it happens a lot. There's a lot of trash talk in NBA.
Yeah,
Like
I think the problem is
unbelievable.
when there's baggage already and then they trash talk. That's why, just like with human beings, your fight is only with certain people. Certain people can say the same thing to you, no fight ever happens. And yet other people say it, and so I think that's the problem. Even in cricket, there are
Yeah.
some guys who just don't get along. They're just not good to chat with each other. I think Rishabh is fine with most of the Aussies. They can't
There,
understand. Yeah. Huh.
That happens in sports. Like if like things said by people you don't like, it will trigger you off a little bit
Afridi
more than
Gambhir, Afridi Gambhir was always almost a physical fight every time they played. They just couldn't
yeah,
stand each
almost.
other. Yeah, you could see when the
Yeah.
first delivery there's eye contact. I don't know how Gambhir is. He's like that dog, that you take the leash off and he's attacking the dog. Then
He's
you
very.
you have to say sorry. He just can't stop himself. You open the leash and straight. So he's a small guy, but he packs quite a punch. Like he always wants to scrap. And that's a
Yeah.
Delhi thing, I suppose. Abhijit will tell you about it. Yeah, growing up, he's a West Delhi boy. West Delhi to nahi hai. West Delhi is Virat. Shall we do AMAs?
Yes, please.
that's
53
AMAs.
minutes of nothing.
This
Well, tribute.
this AMAs. This first one comes in from ERI. This is for Abhijit. He says, Abhijit, what do you think of crowd work, which most of stand-up comics seem to be doing a lot of these days? Personally, I think it's not fun. Mind you, I also really like Don Rickles, whose main thing was roasting and doing crowd work, roasting people and doing crowd work.
I love Don Rickles.
Okay.
But
Love Don Rickles.
Abhijit,
So personally, again, it depends on what kind of crowd work it is. I kind of like a crowd work which is like if it's, I mean, it's not supposed to be insulting because that just feels a little weird that like audience is there and it's just like that, just a shitty bald joke or something like that, and making fun of that. Are this? I mean, so it's more than what you do; it's how you do it again. So if it is little bit of intelligent and the way I approach crowd work is like there has to be, if there's a full circle towards the way you are doing it. Like you have done crowd work with one person and somehow you can link that up again. That sounds beautiful and that sounds like a whole story. But apart from that, just basic insults, and I mean, it should not come to a point that, I'm sorry if I'm making this very long and sound like a TEDx talk, but if it should not come to a point it just sounds like jo college mein, like those really tall guys who just crack the jokes and करके खुद ही हम ताली मार देते. It should not sound like that. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. It depends on how everybody's approaching it or how the comedian is doing it.
Also, if you're a hardcore crowd work fellow, then you have to wait for the pandemic. It's going to be a huge problem. It was like, guys, I've got a lot more jokes, but I need people, so it's going to give me 2 years. Yeah.
But
I think
some
also
comics,
the audience. Yeah, go on.
there are some comics who are really good at crowd work and maybe not as good as joke writers, and vice versa. Also, there are some comedians who are excellent joke writers, but maybe not as comfortable doing crowd work.
No, but
And
then
that's
you're talking
totally
about.
fine. There are
No, you're
comics of
talking about.
all.
Yeah, but that's what you're talking about is their ability. We're talking about the concept. And the concept of crowd work sometimes works really well because the whole room gets electrified.
And right
But
now
he's
it's
right.
working.
If they're picking on one guy,
Sorry,
no, if
you
you're
finish
picking
what
on
you're
one
saying.
guy, then you can lose the audience sometimes. You've done it. You can see the audience not happy because you're picking on that guy. It's not just fun anymore. Only 5 people are laughing. So I think this is that you find that area where everybody's enjoying whatever the crowd work moment is with whoever.
I would beg to differ on that. Right now, crowd work as a concept in YouTube, it's killing in numbers. Actually, it's doing better than even some, if you put up a topical proper bit, crowd work bits are doing way more. So it's for all that we can, talk about. But YouTube audience is definitely lapping up crowd work like
They should
crazy.
allow the comedian to choose the crowd. As they come in, we should be allowed to like apartheid in the old days. Ye nahi, ye theek hai. Ye allowed hai, wife allowed nahi hai. Like that, and then you get your crowd.
But
Then
you know
boom,
that, right? A lot of
you're off.
comedians you would do that. Like they would have that specific kind of people in the front few rows, especially during recording
The
and all
plants.
that. They would, yeah. Not plants. I'm saying I would want just couples, or I would just want,
So
just,
I can go into that
yeah,
topic and all. Yeah.
or white ladies or only, so that it looks, it looks like that kind of a show. So people do all that, not in Indian context, I'm saying, but people have been doing that also.
Like I remember once doing a show in Andrews, and the guy is heckling or said something in the crowd. We went there, and when the lights came on, it was like a transgender person. And it comes on the screen. I didn't mean to be mean. I said, okay, nice outfit, something like that. But it's more the tone than what I said, and everybody just started clapping and laughing. And I felt really bad immediately because that
Yeah.
really shouldn't have been but he just caught me off guard because as the light came on, you come close, you see this guy wearing all floral clothing and with a male with a female, you know how it is, yeah. It just hit you, comes on the screen, audience reacts, and then what do you do with that? Because you want to make fun more because it's working, people are
Yeah,
mean,
it's very
and B,
weird.
but this guy is a sweet guy. He's not really. There's no need to,
Yeah,
because it's obviously it is racism or whatever you want to call it. It is like a
put him
prejudice
down.
there. Yeah.
But you don't want to go too far, right? I mean, like you want to basically keep it within realm of
Yeah, but
reason, but
Amit,
at the same time,
we also joke horse. The moment you feel the market, you feel
I
the
know.
energy in the room. You can't stop yourself because it just happens naturally because that's why we try to make people laugh wherever
Don't
we
you
go.
remember a lot of times, like maybe more as during college time or something, you have been a part of 4-5 friends just making fun of one guy, and because everybody
Kunal,
is doing it together, we don't
yeah,
realize it, but it is kind of bullying for that person. So somehow,
It is.
sometimes you are in that situation unknowingly, and later on you probably realize that was just a shitty thing that I did, but you get engulfed in that moment also, and it's the same feeling that as a comic it's working. The audience is
why do
digging it up and all.
audiences laugh at the guy because he's dressed like whatever transgender or I mean, really, it's their fault also. Why that? It still
Uh,
happens.
yeah, I
Immediately the
know.
response is really
I came
loud.
to one of your shows a couple of years ago, and one of your one of the people who was with you, decided to use that as the way to joke, right? I mean, like your best friend, Kunal.
Oh, in
Wasn't
the
it?
skit.
Yeah, the skit. I mean,
Yeah,
that was the joke, right? The
yeah,
entire
yeah.
joke was him dressed up in a dress.
Yeah. Well, I think he
So
plays a nurse or something. I can't remember. But
it
I think the
was
intent there was not to make fun of the thing. It was just him as an ugly
no, it
woman.
was him. He was the
Yeah,
joke, right? I
yeah,
mean, like he was.
yeah.
I think he played Tina Turner in the show I saw,
Oh,
and
right,
then
right.
I think
At
after
the
that he
end,
hurt
yeah,
himself, and then he started playing Lata Mangeshkar or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, he couldn't climb the steps in the tight skirt and fell or
What?
something.
This is hilarious to even think
Yeah,
of
from where?
here as a concept. Like,
Tina Turner's full of bustling energy, small movements and bustling energy. Trying to copy the thing where a choreographer tries to go up the steps, he falls, and then his Tina Turner is like lazy Tina Turner. The whole thing changed. So put him in a sari, let him. Lata famously has a book. She has some chamchis, left, right, and center, and she has a mic. This is very simple and a pallu and all that, and boom, all good,
that is
much
sounding
safer.
super.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hilarious. I mean, it's not my favorite kind of humor, but it still was funny as hell, right? When I saw it that time.
I don't know, we've done these rugby reviews where have been so crass, some of the jokes and all that, but they work. But they are sexist, they are homophobic, they are racist, maybe not so much. Communalists, definitely. Although I think communalists should be allowed because this country needs to grow up and stop being so touchy. Because when Don Rickles makes black jokes for the first time in a very wide audience, and again, like the Ganguly effect, the ripple is slow and then slowly it becomes more. Because he actually tells guys, you're black with Jews, we should get along, we should live together, we need someone to clean. Some stupid things like that. And then it's like the ripple, and then slowly it's more. But they're okay. They all laugh. Sammy Davis Jr. and all laughing because it's like Conan and the Paraplegic because of the actually being open and honest, which everybody is patronizing and not the elephant in the room sort of thing. I don't know. Okay, I think we finished the AMAs. Done.
No, we did only one question. We have so many. Can we get a couple more?
Did you didn't see the pressure?
We saw the 7 o'clock dinner time card
Yeah,
notification.
saw that. Yes. we saw
Human
that.
clock, yaar.
Okay.
Yes, my
Sorry,
beautiful
quickly.
wife.
We get to the conclusion.
Beautiful. Come and say hi. That's
See anything.
young Abhijit, who's one of the best
Hello.
comedians in India. I have to show you his pieces since you are fervently left. Silvery
Yeah,
and
but
Amit.
without the glasses, it's like a blurred haze.
That's better way to see Indian men. I always tell women, take off your glasses when you see
This
Indian
is
men.
the best we look. Yeah, this is our best.
She's gone. She has no interest here. Don't worry.
Okay.
Bolo.
The next one. Okay. Firstly, quickly, a reminder to everyone: please do hit like on this live stream, and whenever you watch this video or listen to us on any of the podcasting apps, please give us a review or hit us
Smash that
hit us up
like
in the
button.
comments. Exactly. Smash the like button. What Abhijit said. Thank you so much.
Especially if you're a
Uh,
Norm Macdonald fan and you want to see the
yeah.
Desi version. We have that. We have
Yeah,
that.
we do, guys. All right. Next one comes in from Yogesh Kashalkar. He asks, with Virat stepping down for the T20, you think it's better for the Indian team to have three different specialist captains for all three formats? I think there is talk about Virat stepping down from the Indian captaincy of the IPL.
That was dismissed. That was dismissed.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So he's
listen,
not.
at the moment. He's not, but I can understand if he wants to because the mental pressure of being Indian captain in all three formats is never going to be easy. So as you age, now he's got 12 Test matches, 100 in Tests and all that. I can understand, but frankly, I prefer a strong leader for all three formats if he's good enough and he can play all three. What do you say, Abhijit?
This news piece was itself so weird, saying that after the World Cup, Virat Kohli will step down from T20. If he wins, there is nobody even talks about
Yeah.
it or anything. So
Yeah.
frankly, it was a very weird news piece. And
And who is this guy,
honestly,
Rohit Sharma, who's spread the rumor?
well, a lot of things have like similarly. You know what happened? Like Chennai Super Kings, I think put up a tweet that who do you think should be the next captain for Chennai Super Kings? And Ravindra Jadeja himself went and replied to it number 8, which is his own number, and everybody grabbed screenshots of that. But by then he tried to delete it. But yeah, the
Rohit
damage
Sharma
was
is
done.
asking, is Kohli resigning news true? Rohit Sharma. Wow, that's nice.
That's
But
hilarious.
But the two things about this whole what I think Chetan Sharma and gang have done, selectors. Ek, wo Ashwin ka recall, okay, which he doesn't know about. They're in England, they don't know about it. The announcement came from India, and they put Ashwin in the team without telling Virat, which caught him, I think, off guard a little bit. And the second
Guys,
thing,
apparently the Virat thing is true. Everybody said that he just confirmed it himself on Twitter.
Right now, it has happened.
Like now, yeah.
What are you saying?
Virat
I'll just
actually
check. I'll call him. Virat ko phone dena.
This can't be true, guys. This can't be true.
And now we have to stop our live show. This might get
Oh.
go for a
I've been
toss.
fortunate enough to
Oh, yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to not only represent India but also lead the Indian cricket team to my utmost capability. I thank everyone who has supported me in my journey as the captain. I won't have done it without them. The boys, blah 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 blah. Understanding workload is very important, and considering my immense workload over the last 8-9 years, playing all three formats and captaining regularly for the last 5-6 years,
See?
I feel I need to give myself space to be fully ready for the Indian team in Test and ODI cricket. I have given everything to the team, and I will continue to do so as a T20 batsman. Of course, arriving this decision took a lot of time. After a lot, oh God, I have decided to step down as the T20 captain after this T20 World Cup in Dubai. This is just so stupid. This is
Give Abhijit some time to digest the information. He's very upset. A quick Norm Macdonald joke impression will help us get through these bad times. But like I said in the beginning, it's not shocking. He's now going to be 34. He's reached a point where he's looking at the end of his career also in 2-3 years. And so to prolong his batting career, he needs to have less pressure. The mental pressure is too much. India captain, every day millions of people are judging you.
Don't
letting it down. Makes this announcement? If you're stepping down, step down right now. But
Yeah,
this whole
okay.
decision of why
That's
you
another
step
point.
down after
That's
the
another
World
point.
Cup is just such a
That's
bizarre.
another point. Yeah.
So
It's
it's a
yeah.
succession plan, no? I mean, like, isn't that the point over here, that there is a
No, but
degree
then
of
it takes the
They've not
sheen away
mentioned.
from the whole World Cup preparation, everything
Yeah,
that anyway
yeah.
is going to step down. So
why?
it just
It's
it's a
listen. This is his last hurrah as captain. We should do everything
No,
we can
no,
for
no.
him.
Last for
last
T20.
hurrah.
He's not resigning from Tests and one
No,
days.
no. So
He wants
just
to
as
go on to the
captain.
223 World Cup,
Yeah.
white ball 50 over World Cup. The T20, he's taking himself off the T20. He's saying out of the three streams, I'll get out of the T20, which is actually a very high pressure, intense for short periods of time.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. It's his decision. He's Virat Kohli. No one's pushing him. That's for sure.
Yeah, of
Even though
course.
Dhoni is a mentor, whatever that means, with Ravi
No, I think
Shastri already
certainly
there.
some things have happened which have led to this
Yeah,
situation. There's
yeah. I
definitely
know
more that has happened than
from
what meets
some
the
of the
eye.
boys in the sports business, I know ki they're not happy with the Ashwin not playing in those four tests that they went on with. But that's also Ravi Shastri. You know, that's Ravi Shastri and Virat Kohli. That's their preference. What are you going to do? It's a Unis Beast choice. What would you do, Abhijit? You think that's a fair call?
I
Ki
too
Jadeja,
kept thinking all the time that Ashwin, the world's best spinner, has to be in the playing 11 no matter what. He's the world's best spinner right now.
forget who's a better all rounder. You go with you call it
Because
and
Jadeja, like only in the fourth test, he finally took some wickets. But Jadeja as a spinner had been very less
against the
effective. And
poorest batting lineup in the world,
against the
literally
poorest
in a
bat.
sense.
Yeah, and honestly, Ashwin is not that bad as an all-rounder either. That
Five
and
test centuries. And also,
yeah,
listen, you're looking at the rough all the time in day 3 and 4 and 5 for Jadeja. You don't worry about the Ashwin. Ashwin will bowl with a new ball also. He's got
yeah,
the ability to do
Ashwin
all kinds
has
of
done
things, including bowl
everything.
leg breaks.
He can bowl six different kind of deliveries in in an over. He's
So
the
basically,
world's
that's
best
8
spinner. How
balls,
can
6
yeah
different balls plus, well, do the
yeah.
maths. Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, for me, Ashwin had to be in the playing 11 for sure. But
But
that's a
there's something about that. There's something about that which I hope doesn't become snowballs a little bit, because there's something usme kuch hai. Dal mein kala hai. So that there's a big issue about why he was
because
not given a.
Kohli apparently the night before the test was cancelled had sent out a mail to BCCI. That has been also a lot of limelight that Kohli has sent out a mail. Obviously, this BCCI ECB thing has been going on. ECB wants them
Also,
to forfeit so that they get the insurance money. If they don't
correct.
forfeit, they won't get insurance money.
But
So
that's fine. That's a pure financial reason. The point of the matter is that the boys themselves didn't want to play, and not the BCCI. Let's say that's what's coming out clearly. BCCI never said don't play. Boys said don't play. So then someone who's the leader of the pack. So I don't know if all this has been a
lot
bit of
of
an issue.
No, this might be
God
part of the
knows.
problem. You're 100% right, right? I mean, like canceling a cricket match like this, the way the last Indian the last match was cancelled, it was, man. I mean, like,
See,
there were some.
Amit, what we've not discussed on the show is that lockdown was lifted on July 23rd or 4th or whatever by Boris
Uh,
Johnson. There
uh,
was no lockdown. You didn't have to wear masks. When people like Dilip Doshi write that, you should have masks in the room when they were at the book launch, the government mandate, you have to follow the government. The government said no more
yeah,
masks. Now you go and live your life, celebrate, have the book launch, have the weddings, whatever. So,
what are we seeing? We
that
are seeing Premier League matches, audience going crazy
40,
together. Everybody, there is
I mean,
nothing.
those guys are
Nobody was.
kissing distance, yeah.
Yeah. So that is
So,
there was no mandate and there was no protocols and all being followed
right.
throughout UK. This has been a very much a ECB versus BCCI. ECB wanted to give preference to their 100, which is why for 1 month Indian cricket team was
The
just
dates change,
hanging
all
around
that,
there and
yeah.
roaming around places. 10 days of gap between two tests where so that 100 matches could play. So
For
it's a lot of
200
pressure.
years of colonialism, we are making them pay on the cricket field, both with the results and with the financial situation. Because this
Yeah,
fifth test got 40 million pounds in debt is not a joke, yaar. 40
yeah.
million pound loss,
yeah,
okay, for this test
yeah.
match, which, and they're really upset about that.
Yeah,
But I
they
don't,
they want the insurance money. That's why they need India to forfeit the match.
if we forfeit, then technically it's 2-all.
To
I think you
all,
give the
yeah.
test, the test match. Pakistan, the Inzamam's team, something similar happened when he walked off, right? That's the only thing that we had. Then they cancelled it later and allowed it to be whatever,
Wasn't
cancelled
there?
or something.
What happened to that? Didn't Gavaskar walk off in the 70s at some point,
No, but he
or
didn't
did
cross
he
the
Something
come
like
line.
in?
that.
See, technically, we crossed the line. He was trying to take Dilip Vengsarkar with him, I think, or Chetan
Right,
Chauhan with him, and Vengsarkar wasn't allowed
something
to
like
come
that.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he crossed the boundary rope, then it's timed out. Then
Okay.
then both players timed out. The match is over. So both your batsmen have crossed the rope. That's a way to end the test match.
This is
Remember that if you want
immense.
to win, just push
This
them
is
over the rope.
immense.
Okay, guys, have to eat dinner. Quickly, last question.
Last
Yes.
question. This is for Cyrus. Comes in from Tarun Kaushik. He says, "Can you, Cyrus, tell us more about your upcoming show on MTV?"
It's not my upcoming show. It's just a show whose name escapes me is after shooting it for 6 days, you don't remember these things. But it's the MTV, Everest Base Camp, Center Fruit, MTV, Everest Base
These
Camp
are
Hunt.
keywords. These are keywords you're saying. That's
Look,
not the
if you
name
give
of
me
it.
some time, I'll find it in my
Let's be,
WhatsApp.
see, but he did like he took the brand's name. So
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's-
Listen, I love Center Fruit. I was so happy it was a chewing gum sponsor because half the time you're chewing the gum. You can ask Amit and Andan. They took shots of chewing the gum in between. It's so nice because these things are so real, as you very well know. Na? Okay, guys, now just laugh. We don't have enough laughter in this shot. So then, okay, laugh heavy, laugh light. All that is there. Then the gum shot. So then, like two little models. And when they tell you to do that, you start eating in a very funny way where you normally would just go whatever. Then you suddenly are conscious about it. People are making sounds, respected MBAs, sitting around chewing.
I
Hilarious.
can't imagine Amit Tandon chewing gum for some reason. I don't
No, he
think
chewed.
Amit Tandon.
He chewed.
Yeah,
He
must
was
have
very
chewed
nice.
in this too,
He's
but
very easy to work with. I must say, we didn't have any problem with any of the judges.
I
We had a
can
great time.
imagine him
I thought his
chewing long.
t-shirt, Abhijit t-shirt thoda tight tha, but I don't want to get into the specifics of that. But
I think he's trying to compete with you, Cyrus. He's trying to compete with you.
me, they make me dress like a bull. They put all kinds of
What?
things on top and then like Kashmir outfits and all that. I don't know. I had like 3 layers because we were supposed to be at Everest Base Camp, bhai, or near Everest Base
Oh, yeah.
Camp. So yeah,
Wow.
of course the other judge is not. I am, but we are 1 foot away.
Was this the first time for you near Everest Base Camp, or have you been there before?
We didn't
as well?
actually go. Not yet.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, once they have a winner, then the winners are supposed to go there. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm very worried. I'm just thank God it's not Kabul, but I mean, think of it that way. How many comedies? Well done. Good news, bad news. Good news, you get to travel. Bad news, it's Kabul. You'll be
Kabul.
performing for Taliban. About politics, religion, women, children, midgets, Americans, foreigners, guns, prayers. What do you talk about? Fuck, that would be a great. Wow, what do we do with the Taliban? What jokes can we do?
The next Splitsvilla should be in Taliban. That would be amazing. to
Or
see.
roadies. This time roadies tag me. No one makes it out alive.
There's
They're like,
a new task. There's a new task. People are shooting and you're like, proper immunity task.
yeah, your task is pick up a Taliban fighter and bring him back to India and make him do an MBA. That's your task. What do you think?
That sounds like an amazing reality TV concept, by the way. I am totally watching that one.
Sponsors are coming. Achha, now, of course, we all want to go and find out what Virat Kohli has actually. Why do they break news while our show is on so we look like losers? Everybody else knows but us. And ours is a live show. Now people know that if there's breaking news, don't go to our podcast because we're the last to tell you.
And why couldn't, Silvery, it's your fault. You should have read this
Your
before
fault.
so that we could have,
Yeah,
we could have checked.
Norm Macdonald ka nakal karke you forgot about the fresh news, yaar. Norm died 3 days ago. Sorry to be
Silvery
disrespectful.
stops listening to us. That's why he just stops reacting. Say, right now,
Silvery, please answer in the American accent, but whatever you do now.
Okay. What is the question?
Announce Virat Kohli has resigned from captaincy.
All right. Virat Kohli. There's a cricketer called Virat Kohli, and I've heard he's quitting or something. I don't know. He's gonna quit cricket. So whoever cares about cricket, anyway. So
bad.
yeah, just bye Virat Kohli. All the best. Yeah.
Now we know why he quit.
He heard that. Imagine poor Virat having just quit captaincy, hearing
Yeah,
this
it's been a bad enough day. Then he puts the podcast on. He hears this. Yeah. How do we?
I
explain
should
it to
have
the
stayed
nation?
on for 1 more hour. I should have
And
stayed on for an hour.
finally, we have a reply to Arnab. The nation doesn't need to know. Let's be honest. Okay, but both of you are distracted. Huh? Abhijit is already tweeting and messaging about Virat Kohli. He's going berserk.
Yeah, I have a lot of opinions.
Ronaldo returns to Old Trafford. Virat Kohli leaves Firozshah Kotla, in a sense. It's amazing. Chalo. So good night from everybody. You guys go and do whatever you do for the next 2 hours while I eat dinner.
Bye.
Bye-bye.